Okay, here's the headline that should make every knowledge worker sit up straight. In March alone, U.S. employers disclosed 60,620 job cuts, and AI was cited as the top reason in a quarter of the reports. That's not a vibe shift. That's a labor market shift.
And if you zoom in, it's not just AI replaces jobs, it's companies redesigning processes around automation and agents. The signal is, if your work can be structured, measured, and routed through software, leadership is going to ask why it isn't.
Plus, the survey data is brutal. One enterprise AI survey says 60% of executives plan to lay off employees who can't or won't use AI. That's basically a mandatory skills migration. Let's connect the dots. We've got public layoff reporting saying AI is being named as a primary driver. We've got executives saying employees who don't adopt AI are on the chopping block. This is the same story from two angles: cost pressure and capability.
Right. And the writer survey also says 92% of execs are cultivating an AI elite. And 87% say those super users are at least 5x more productive. Whether or not the exact multiplier holds everywhere, the managerial behavior is clear. They will reward people who can multiply output with tools.
Here's the uncomfortable part for leaders. The survey also says only 29% report significant ROI from Gen AI and 23% from agents. So companies are simultaneously saying, this is inevitable, and we're not getting the returns yet. That's why you're seeing restructuring. They want ROI to appear on paper.
And you can't force ROI by sprinkling co-pilots on top of broken processes. You get ROI when you change the workflow: intake, decisioning, approvals, documentation, execution, all the boring plumbing. That's also where governance matters. Writer says 67% of execs believe they've had a data leak from employees using unapproved AI tools.
So, in plain English, if your company doesn't give you safe tools, you'll use unsafe tools. And then leadership will say, see, this is why we need controls. It's a predictable cycle.
Actionable takeaway for individuals: become the person who can deliver results and keep things compliant. Learn prompt patterns, yes, but also learn what data is allowed, what needs redaction, and how to build repeatable templates. AI plus judgment is the job description. Microsoft is clearly moving to own more of the model layer. They released MI Transcribe 1 plus MI Voice 1 and MI Image 2 for broader commercial use. That matters because speech and multimodal content are increasingly the front door to agents.
Translation: if you can capture meetings, calls, and frontline conversations as clean text, cheaply, you can automate the follow-ups. You can audit them. You can measure them. You can feed them into CRM. That's not nice to have. That's operational leverage.
And it lines up with what Microsoft is doing on the product surface. Their Copilot release notes say Copilot Chat is now available across Teams chats, channels, calling, and meetings. So the AI is showing up in the place work already happens.
If you run an org, that's huge. The friction cost of adoption goes down. It's not go to the AI tool. It's AI is in the meeting you're already in.
Exactly. And there's a smaller workflow upgrade that hints at maturity. You can edit scheduled prompts instead of deleting and recreating them. That sounds tiny, but scheduled prompts are basically automation. Every Monday, summarize X. Every day, generate Y.
So the enterprise AI thesis becomes models plus distribution plus workflow hooks. But there's a second half: infrastructure. If everyone is doing AI inside collaboration tools, you need compute and you need a cost curve that doesn't explode. NVIDIA's framing is basically, tokens are the new unit of economic output. Their Rubin platform is described as a 6-chip platform in full production, and they claim it can deliver AI tokens at roughly 1/10 the cost of the prior platform.
And what's really interesting is the emphasis on AI native storage for inference, specifically a KV cache tier for long context inference. Long context is expensive, and caching is how you keep it from melting your budget.
Here's the strategic connection. The cheaper inference gets, the more companies will automate. That pushes job redesign faster, which then pushes policy fights faster.
Plus, NVIDIA is explicitly tying this to physical AI, robotics, simulation, autonomous systems. So the compute stack isn't just for chatbots, it's for robots and factories. On humanoids, BMW says it's running a pilot at its Leipzig plant with Hexagon's humanoid Aeon, with another test deployment planned for April 2026 and a full pilot targeted for summer 2026. That's not a demo at a trade show. it's a production environment.
And the money is moving. Reuters reports Apptronik raised $520 million, with a source valuing the company around $5 billion, to commercialize its Apollo humanoid robot for industrial use.
The key to humanoids isn't that they're perfect, it's that they're good enough to plug into existing workstations. Apptronik's pitch is that human-scale robots can use existing shelving and stations, and they can collect training data in the process.
Which means deployment isn't the end, it's the start. Each deployment is a data flywheel. And if your company is thinking about labor, the question becomes, which tasks do you want humans doing when a robot can do the predictable physical workflow?
And the other question, what is the safety and compliance posture? Because once you have robots and AI in the same environment, regulators show up. And not just with AI rules, but worker safety, liability, and standards.
Policy is moving in two directions at once. The White House released a national AI legislative framework, arguing that a patchwork of state laws would undermine innovation and calling for a uniform national approach.
Meanwhile, states are moving fast anyway. Plural Policy says they tracked 19 new AI-related laws passed into law over 2 weeks, bringing their tracked total for 2026 from 6 to 25 since mid-March.
And Washington state signed new laws. One on disclosure for AI-modified media, one on companion chatbots that requires periodic reminders and safeguards around self-harm, and a measure allowing lawsuits for AI voice likeness impersonations.
So the operational takeaway, enterprises need a compliance posture now, not later. Think provenance, audit trails, disclosure, and a safety response plan, especially if you're deploying customer-facing conversational systems.
Rapid fire number 1. OpenAI added ChatGPT support for Apple CarPlay. More evidence that voice is becoming the default interface for assistance in context.
Rapid fire number 2. Longevity capital is accelerating. Longevity. Technology cites a DLT dataset showing about 3.74 billion raised across disclosed deals in Q1 2026, with a realistic full-year projection in the 8 to 9 B range.
Rapid fire number 3. Senolytics research keeps evolving. A Cedars Sinai preclinical report describes senolytics clearing 30% to 70% of senescent cells in mice and proposes senosensitizers to target resistant cells. That's the breakdown for today. The stories are moving fast, but the playbook for staying ahead doesn't change.
If any of this hit close to home for your industry or your role, the newsletter goes deeper every week. Link in the description.
We're Marcus Reed and Sarah Chen. This is your AI future. Subscribe if you want to keep up, and we'll see you tomorrow.